What's up, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA, and I'm your host, Mike, along with my special guest here, John Stargarian, MMA Fox on Twitter. We're going to break down PFL Week 3 here in Chicago, Illinois. John, we got a decent card here for PFL. I don't mind it at all on a non-UFC week after coming off one of the best cards all time at UFC 300. I saw it in person. I saw that knockout by Holloway in round 5 with 1 second left. How do you feel about this PFL card? And actually, what did you think of that UFC 300 card?
I mean, honestly, UFC 300 massively outperformed my expectations. Like every time we get one of these stacked cards, we all talk about how great it is, and they usually end up disappointing. Like I've found it's usually the shitty cards where we get a bunch of finishes and they're super fun. But yeah, I mean, it was amazing. And obviously we're all in the Discord and all cashed the round 5 on Holloway, which was awesome. So, and I had doesn't go the distance, which was also awesome. So it was electric.
I had the same bets, and I'm like to my wife with 30 seconds left. I'm like, so here, I know people are saying I got lucky, and I understand the lucky part, but here's my thing to them. If you fast forward a little bit, or I mean, go backward a little bit to about the 2-minute mark, he almost fucking finished
him. Yeah.
Right? It was this close to finishing. So that
dude, I had my head in my
really
hands.
Good bet, but I'm like, then when he emptied the gas tank and he didn't finish him, the ref was really close to stopping it, and he didn't finish him. I looked over to my wife and I'm like, damn, man, there goes my round 5 bet. You know, she's like, and she looked back at me. She's like, but there's still a minute left. Don't worry. And sure enough, dude, with 1 second, it was crazy.
I'll be honest, karma got me. I don't know if it got you. It got me in the next fight, though. And I don't know if you heard what happened in Discord. Like, we all thought Zhang submitted Jan at the horn. And dude, Sean and I didn't realize for 2.5 minutes that the fight was still going on. I was sending messages out like such an easy under 4.5 is free.
Oh, my God. I had Whaley by sub. Oh. And that was my Lambo play. And in person, I saw her, like, go limp at the end. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, how did he not stop this? What that?
He helped her up.
Did you hear this? So apparently somebody just told me in the gym right now at my kickboxing. He goes, if you paid attention to the end of the round, they stuffed something inside of her nose to wake her up. And the corner told the ref when he walked her over, he said, don't worry, we'll wake her up.
Dude, it was sickening. Like, and then she basically stopped her again in the next round. Yeah, she landed like 100 ground strikes. I can't even get into it.
All right, let me go over to my chat real quick. Grateful dude, what is up, man? Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Appreciate it. Mushroom in the house. Spoofoo, what is up, my man? Dixon's always in here. John Starr, fuck with me, bro. I'm the Spartan to Jim Miller. Come teach me how to golf. I don't know what that is about, but okay.
Jim Miller lives in Sparta. A lot of golf out there.
What's up, Gerardo? Christian in the house as well. OV740 locks. No, Tim is not here today, but thank you very much. Joshua Frick, MetaHuman Project says Korkov's good dog. We're going to go into that. Luke's in the house. What is up, Luke? By the way, I met Luke in person. We took a picture. Great dude. I saw him at UFC 300. Great guy, man.
Luke's the man.
Hard, what is up, my man? Thank you for joining. People saying you got lucky cash on a plus 7,500 ticket. Well, I mean, in general, I guess it's kind of lucky. You know, we hit it at the end. But the bet was actually good is what I'm trying to say. Is like he almost had him out prior to that. You know, we didn't have
had Gagey not soft cock for 2 rounds. It probably looks a lot better than that too. You know?
Yeah. He was definitely trying to. He was definitely not the normal Gagey. Honestly, he wasn't engaging as much. But anyway, let's start out here. We're going to go through this pretty quick. 12 fights. First fight of the night, it's Roman Debane, 10-4 versus the 6-0 Thad John, welterweight division. I think these guys both had a 3-week notice here for this fight. So I'm going to let you kick off this breakdown here, and if you have a bet. What do you have here, John?
I don't have a bet yet. I talked to you about this the other day. I was considering Roman just because – I mean, he's a lot more experienced. Obviously, he's a bit more fundamentally sound than Thad is. But, like, the more I thought about it, the more I'm just like, I'm trying to avoid fading these, like, super athletes that without grappling upside. Like, if Romain was a grappler, I'd be happy to back him here. but he's not. And Thad is like literally one of the most athletic fighters I've ever seen, period. And the guy's 25 and probably getting better every fight. So I don't really have any interest in the Romain money line. Something I do kind of have interest, though, is the over 1.5 is plus money. Like, I think Thad only has like 3 finishes in 6 fights. Like, Romain, he hits hard, but Thad seems super durable. And in general, I kind of think Romain is going to probably just take the back foot and like look to land 1-2s and the occasional kick, and probably will be able to pick up on John's like blitzes early in the fight. So I'm kind of interested in the over 1.5, but no bet for me. I'll pick Thad. It's just so much more athletic.
Oh my God. I was on the opposite, honestly. I kind of like the under here. And part of the reason is, well, first of all, Romain has been finished in all of his losses, in all 4. Like, he's been finished. But the reasoning kind of why is because, one, he's extremely wild when he's throwing in a pile. Those 1-2s are like, bro, he's trying to take your head off, right? And if he lands, honestly, he can probably knock out just about anybody. He throws with fucking everything into his punches, right? And the issue, though, is he can get countered so hard here by Thad, and Thad is like so damn athletic. The other thing is, I feel like if Thad touches him up, John, he's going to do kind of similar to what he did against Penez, and he shot there. And guess what happens then? He's not going to get John down, man. Like, John is too freakishly athletic and strong.
Do you think he could sub him, John?
Who?
I mean,
I don't know if he has that really in his arsenal, to be honest. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I mean, does he have any subs even? Oh, yeah, he has
has one. But I don't think Romain's a good grappler at all, man. I taped that pretty extensively.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's probably obviously KO if he gets him out of there. But the under 1.5, it's minus 140. I would wait and see what the domestics, I think domestics will have pricing soon here. They're dragging their legs here. I don't know why, but I kind of, I'm on the other side here. I kind of like the under just because of how Debane fights, right? That John, yeah, he's been to decision a lot, if you look. But like that Eloquent fight, I mean, he beat the dog shit out of that guy. He had him hurt multiple times. And Eloquent just kind of like flopped to his back multiple times. And, Fat John didn't want to mess around with the grappling against him because he's good. But like Georgie Medina fight, I will tell you guys, if you don't know Georgie Medina, he's an actually really good fighter out of Chicago. I know a couple of people that know him. He's a really, really good, well-rounded fighter for regional scenes. So, like, and that John kind of beat him up in that fight. Yeah, I mean, Debane is like a 1-2 guy, man. Like, it's all he throws. He's got no other thing to his striking. Maybe he throws some leg kicks, but he really doesn't have anything outside of the 1-2. And I think he can get countered hard here against John. How I will say, I looked at the face-offs and I was kind of shocked that John wasn't way bigger than this guy. I thought he would be, but he's not.
I didn't see face-offs, so that's kind of surprising.
Yeah, he's not much bigger, honestly. He's a little bit bigger, but not like I thought he would be, But like John is such a freak, man. He's a freak.
He's athlete. A good talent.
He's a good talent. He's got some amateur fights as well under his belt. So, the guy is still 25, man. This guy took his first amateur fight when he was like 18 or something, 17 or 18.
Yeah, I mean, he's been around. He fought Roman Feraldo as an amateur too.
When he was like 19, I think, right?
And he went the distance with him. Yeah. Which was probably speaks to his durability.
I honestly think he's going to just be improving little by little every fight. Meanwhile, like Debane, I mean, he's the same fucking guy. He's a 1-2 guy. Yeah. He doesn't really like if you're looking for a dog, I don't think this one would be one for me, honestly. I do think John rolls here. Under, maybe some kind of prop when they open up on domestics, I'll look at. But yeah, I think John should win here, and I kind of feel like PFL wants to build this guy, to be honest, because I do think he's a talent. Moving on, fight 2. It's in the featherweight division. It is the 12-3 Tyler Diamond versus the 14-1 Otto Rodriguez. And pre-tape, I thought to myself, Otto might be a good bet here. But after going into tape, like, don't get me wrong. I think Otto's a good overall fighter. I don't think his striking is great, but his ground game is really good. He's got decent wrestling for usually these jiu-jitsu guys don't really have good wrestling. I think his wrestling is pretty good. The problem is he's also facing a really good wrestler, right? In Tyler Diamond here. That's what he's known for. So then the issue I have is what happens if Otto can't get this fight to the ground? And that's where I have a problem, right? Because I'm not really sure, yeah, he got Brian Moore down, but Brian Moore is not really a wrestler, right? Like, who cares? Tyler Diamond is he's a legit wrestler. So it's like, okay, what happens if he can't get Tyler Diamond down? And that's where I'm kind of iffy. Now, I will say his Alexander Matmuradov finish is fucking extremely impressive. I'm telling you. I know Matmuradov. He's fighting this week on ACA. He's an extremely good fighter. He's got good takedown defense. He's just a good overall fighter. But the problem is, we're talking 8 years ago, right? And if that Otto Rodriguez was to fight today, then it was a slam dunk for me. I would play him here. I just don't know. Like, this guy took a million years off. He came back at 35, 36. It's not something you want to lay chalk on at this point in his career. And it's like, how do I want to play this fight, right? And so I'll look at the odds here on Bet Online. And I mean, the over 2.5 is juiced to the gills. And it's like, they're saying this fight goes the distance. And if this fight goes the distance, then how the hell can this guy be minus 180? That means he's not probably because here's the thing. If he gets to the ground a lot and he's on top, I think he can sub. Like, he's way better when it comes to submission grappling, right? It's not even close. So that's the thing in my head. It's like, they're telling me it's going the distance, but if he gets the fight to the ground a lot, it shouldn't go to distance. And yet we're here with this price tag of minus 180, 190. I can't get to it, honestly. I think it's dog or pass, but I'm going to probably stay away, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight because my initial instinct was to bet Diamond. I'm still kind of considering it, but at the same time, like, I think the price is where it is because of how easily Mavlid controlled Diamond. But like, Mavlid Habalayev is like top tier, like he's a different level. Like, he's like Khabib's protege. The dude is just obviously built different. I do think Otto can get him down, though, because I just don't like how Diamond tends to defend takedowns with a guillotine. It just seems like a recipe for getting put down by a double leg. But at the same time, like, I know it was years ago, but like, Bryce Mitchell took him down 3 times and he out-controlled Bryce Mitchell 3-1. So it's like, if Bryce Mitchell couldn't easily control him, I really can't imagine Otto does. And obviously the wrestling pedigree, Diamond was a D1 wrestler. Otto, I agree with you, is a good wrestler for a jiu-jitsu guy, but it's very different. With that said, like you were saying on the feet, I don't know, because in theory, like, Diamond should be better on the feet, right? But like, I think this guy's fragile, and that's kind of what scares me. Like, it seems like he gets hurt pretty. I don't know if it's that he's fragile or he just takes shots flush on the chin because he doesn't move his head. But like, Otto swings some big hooks, man. In breaking it down, I'm just like, yeah, I feel like Diamond has to be the side. He's got the better wrestling pedigree. He should be the better striker, but I don't really trust his chin at all. I don't trust his defense. I'd feel more confident if he was going to counter wrestle Otto here, because I actually do think he could do that. He did it pretty effectively against Mitchell, and I think he could do it here. I just, you see with these American wrestlers all the time, they just choose to keep the fight standing against the jiu-jitsu guy and strike with them, and that like deeply concerns me. I kind of lean Diamond. I honestly, though, kind of like the under to an extent. Like you pointed out, Mike, like if Otto is winning the fight, he's probably going to get in a position to sub. And on the feet, like Otto is there to be cracked, and so is Diamond. I'm thinking about the under. I'm thinking about Diamond. I haven't made a play. It's just really hard for me to think Otto at Juice can be good when he's fighting a real legit wrestler for like the first time in his career, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's It's 175. I guess there's some people buying back on Diamond here. Apparently, let me look at the best line here. Oh yeah, I even see 180. Yeah, so it's right around there.
DraftKings,
hasn't really moved, and I don't know. I think I'm pushing a bet, but I will say at faceoffs, Otto looked incredible, man. Like really, really, really good physique. A lot of muscle. He put on a lot of muscle on that little frame. So, it's just something to look at. This guy's been out for so long. I will say, man, this guy has legit fucking wins. I mean, even Carlos Augusto da Silva is a very, very good fighter that he beat. He actually mauled him in that fight. Mauled him on the ground, man. So he's impressive.
And it's weird because Diamond has a lot of good losses, but he hasn't really beaten anybody that I would rate, Do
you think so? Diamond, obviously, if you look at Diamond, right, he has 3 losses to really good guys. Do you think there's a world where he gets ground and pound on him, where Otto just, or is Diamond
maybe,
or is Diamond going to give up the neck? And
I think he's going to try to scramble hard as long as he can.
That's
which is kind of what.
Well, that's going to open up a sub then. Yeah. I was just in my head thinking, Otto doesn't have any subs, but if you watch him in the Augusta fight, he was fucking just drilling him with elbows, man.
What is his KO?
It's huge.
Wow, it is huge. Holy
shit. It's more than 10-1, but he's never had a KO, FYI. But
he could lamp, like I said, I think he could lamp him on the feet. I mean, Diamond should have, I know Otto's not Lochain, but Diamond should have been KO'd by Lochain. That fight should have been stopped multiple times.
Yeah. He dropped him how many times in that fucking
3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Fight number 3. It is in the welterweight division. It is a 10-4-1 Don Madge versus 17-7 Brennan Ward. And we just kind of went over this a little bit, me and John, before we got on air here. John, you kicked this one off, my friend.
Yeah, I was leaning toward a Ward bet pre-tape just because, he's way more experienced than Madge. Obviously, Madge is pulled out of a million fights. No one knows what's going on with that guy. He's coming up in weight, and Brennan Ward is aggressive, and he's fought okay competition. But then you look at it, and it's man, Brennan Ward, he can knock him out. I think he can early in this fight. He's obviously very, very aggressive, but the dude just has no defense in any phase whatsoever. He's very, very easy to hit. If he gets put on bottom, he's pretty bad there. I don't think he's got very good cardio. Even in big exchanges, he tends to just wing hooks from the hip, and he's just very, very easy to touch up there. So, I don't really rate Ward at all, to be honest. And, Madge on the other side was interesting, and you mentioned it to me, and I'll let you, go a little deeper into it. But, on taping Madge, he's a lot more fundamentally sound than I remembered him. I had just remembered him from, the Perez Ziam fight, where he basically just clinched Ziam on the fence for 15 minutes. But he's actually a really, really good kicker. He's got pretty sharp boxing. My biggest concern on the Madge side is just, I don't think he counters a ton, and I feel that is exactly what you want against Ward, because this dude is wide open to get murdered on the counter. But he's bigger than Ward is. I think he's the better grappler. It's if he can survive 2.5 minutes here, I think he just beats him pretty easily everywhere. To me, he's a much more skilled fighter. I just have concerns about him moving up and, just general inactivity. What do you think?
Yeah, we talked about this. I said, pre-tape, I'm why is this guy moving up to 170? And what's the deal here? This far in your career is just moving up. He's been off, all these other things with Don Madge, 2-year layoff, pulled out of a fight against Magomed Kerimov. Then a bunch of other pullouts in the UFC. Just things didn't click for this guy. Here's the thing. This is what we could say. The guy was in the UFC, right? He went 2-0 in the UFC, clearly beat a guy that's currently, a decent UFC fighter in Faraz Ziam, right? And then proceeded to miss and have visa issues and all types of nonsense. He got kicked out of the UFC. They said, you know what? We can't deal with your bullshit anymore. Going to his last fight, Raush Manfio, completely dominating Manfio, piecing him up on the feet, doing whatever he wanted in that fight, and then gets clipped with an overhand right and goes to sleep. Now, I know there's people in here saying, oh, he's chinny. I don't think Madge is chinny, man. He's a tough fucking guy. Manfio just landed one of a howitzer, bro. Literally was a howitzer right on the chin Like, okay, Manfio's a powerful guy. If he lands a huge right like that, like it's probably going to put a lot of people out. He put him out there, right? Can Brennan Ward do the same? Sure. But Brennan Ward, the difference is he's not patient. He's not a guy that's going to sit there and technically try to strike. Like, Manfio's trying to technically land, right? This guy's just going to be trying to throw howitzers the whole fucking time, trying to get you out of there. And the thing is, Madge's footwork is better. Madge's boxing is better. Madge's kicking is better. Madge is a better submission grappler. And the kicker to all this is what we talked about, and I showed you, is Madge coming up to 70. He looks way bigger than Brennan Ward.
Much bigger.
Blew my mind, dude. I'm like, what is going on here? The guy put on 15 pounds of pure fucking muscle or something because he looks monstrous in there. So the one worry I had, like him moving up to 70 and maybe getting bullied and looking smaller, it's out the window now because he's a bigger guy by a lot. So when you talk about skill, when you talk about size now, like, I mean, cardio even. Hey, let's go back to cardio here. Brennan Ward does not have 3 rounds of cardio in him, in my opinion. This guy gasses pretty hard. So it's like, how does Brennan Ward win? Early bonk.
Yeah.
Is that relevant to a plus 160? I don't think so. Like an early bonk. Like this guy's path to victory is an early bonk, honestly.
I also think Ward he tends to collapse too. It's not just cardio. Like when things don't go his way, he tends to implode pretty badly.
I think he's been finishing all 7 of his losses. Maybe I'm wrong.
He has been.
Yeah. I mean, the guy is just, I mean, you look at that loss against that one dude, Fernando Gonzalez. I'm looking at it now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, brutal loss. So a guy that's not very good, bro. Like, come on. And
he's a great hammer and a terrible nail.
Terrible nail. And guess what? In this fight, he's going to have to be a nail, in my opinion, because Don Madge, he's a tough guy, man. He's a tough guy that's going to continue coming forward. He's going to kick you. And by the way, he's got beautiful fucking body kicks. I mean, the guy is a good striker. So he has a well-rounded game. I think this is a match spot, honestly. I'm kind of waiting. I maybe there's some buyback on Brennan Ward. People are saying, hey, this line's kind of been going up and down. It doesn't really know where to go. Right now, we're looking at Madge being a minus 177, and the comeback is 152. So the line has kind of dipped. It was minus 200 a couple of days ago. So, yeah, I think Madge, there's some props I like here. I haven't bet them yet, but there definitely is some props I like to bet here. But we'll wait for MGM and DraftKings and FanDuel and see what they give us. 375 live viewers, John, for a PFL breakdown.
It's amazing for PFL.
Amazing, guys. I appreciate the support. I appreciate my friend John here joining me here today, taking time off to break this down. We'll move on. Fight number 4. It is in the middleweight division. Well, it's supposed to be in the welterweight division, but Lorano Staropoli missed weight at 175. So he's 13-5 here, going up against the undefeated 11-0 Murad Ramazanov. I like this Ramazanov guy, honestly. I thought, honestly, it's so funny because I'm like, man, maybe I'll poke at, Staropoli at plus 400, plus 450. The guy's been looking a little bit better. Looks like he's been on the sauce a little bit there in France. Yada, yada. But actually, he's not in France now. Where is he training now? Isn't he with Pereira? Yeah, he's with Pereira now. Sorry. You're on mute. He's with Pereira.
Yeah, he's in Connecticut with Glover.
Yeah, he's in Connecticut now. So he's been looking, a little bit better in these fights, but against who? Against who? Michael Labat and this other jobber on PFL. Like, he's just not been beating anybody special. Meanwhile, Ramazanov, man, this dude, he looks the part, to be honest, John. Like, he can strike, he can fucking grapple like hell. And that's a recipe for disaster for fucking Staropoli. Like, this guy can definitely fucking grapple. He's gonna take Staropoli down. I mean, probably, I think he's going to pound him out or sub him, to be honest. Like, this is, I know Staropoul's never been finished, but there's a first for everything. And by the way, Staropouli also hasn't faced a fucking a killer like this guy, to be honest. You know, this guy is honestly, like, I understand the lead say he's okay, he's a good UFC fighter, but he's just not a finisher like this fucking guy is. This guy's mean. I mean, he's a mean motherfucker. Even in that Kerestem fight, like, he beat the shit out of that guy, but that guy is tough as hell. So I think he finishes here, honestly. I don't know what round. It could be any fucking round, 1, 2, or 3. But yeah, I think there's a smash spot for this Russian.
Yeah, I agree. I had similar thoughts before looking at it. Like, oh, Luriana Staropoulos fought pretty good guys. Like, kind of probably an overreaction, a Russian overreaction. But yeah, I mean, Ramazanov, unlike another undefeated Russian who we'll talk about later in the card, I think is pretty legit. Wrestling looks really good. Even his striking looks fine. Like, Staropoulos just doesn't really have any way to assert himself in this fight. The guy can't get off. I think he's bad on bottom, and he can't get off the fence, which is worse. Like, when you put him there, like, you watch the Delides fight, he couldn't break his hands for basically 15 minutes. Like, Delides couldn't put him on bottom, but he was just stuck against the fence for literally 15 minutes of the fight. So, like, I don't have a lot to say about it. I tend to agree with you, though. Like, I wouldn't say I'm confident Ramazanov finishes, but it's like the market's saying he's like almost 90% to win this fight. And he's going to likely land multiple takedowns and over the course of the fight get to 1 to 2 dominant positions. Like, if that's the case and he's actually 90%, like, plus 150 to finish seems short to me. Like, I kind of lean in that direction as well, but like, I don't think this should be hard for Ramazanov at all.
Yeah, I think it's a slam dunk, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed.
He's not losing.
Staropoulos just not good. Like, I know he won 2 UFC fights, but it was like Thiago Alves' corpse and Hector Aldana. And then he got pretty much washed, including by Jamie Pickett in his other 4, Jamie
Pickett put on a wrestling clinic on him.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Fight number 5 in the featherweight division. It's 14-0 Timur Khizriev versus 20-3 Brett Johns. This one's yours, John.
Yeah, it's another one where I was like, oh, Johns, former UFC guy, maybe being undervalued. But then you look at it and it's like, well, where is Johns winning this fight? Like, he's not going to out-grapple Khizriev, and I feel so much of Johns' striking is to set up his grappling. Like, he's not assertive striking. He's not a particularly strong hitter. He's not particularly high output. And I actually think Khizriev is a pretty good striker, pretty fast hands, decent boxing, and an excellent wrestler. So, like, I think he can out-wrestle Johns if he wants to. If he wants to keep it standing, I think he can. Johns has like no finishing upside in this fight. Like, his best case to me is edging a tight decision. I just think Khizriev's better everywhere. Like, I guess Johns' optimal fight is on the feet, but he's going to be fighting a faster, bigger hitter, up a weight class too, who's just much more skilled than him. Like, I don't see it for Johns. Johns is the kind of guy you want to bet as a dog against these like young kids who come in there who are like okay wrestlers with not much else. You don't want to bet him against a guy who he has literally no grappling equity against, who's a way better striker. I just think this should be Khizriev all day. Honestly, I don't know if I'll get to minus 350 laying it, but I think there could even be value there, to be honest.
Man, I honestly love for this guy, Khizriev. I look at his tape, and he is definitely a fucking prospect. I mean, he's really good. He's 28. Extremely good striker, honestly. Very, very good striker. Very, very good grappler. Dude, like, guys, I'm telling you right now, his win over Bibert Tumenov is a fucking impressive. That's 10 times more impressive to me than who he's facing right now, because Bibert Tumenov is an absolute fucking animal. I'm telling you guys, that win, 5-round win, and it was a close fight. It's fucking impressive, man. And Khizriev has faced some good regional guys, man, in Russia. Like, some of these guys are pretty fucking good. Even Zubrayev is not a fucking bad fighter. He's a good fighter as well. So, then he comes and he does his thing in Bellator, like 3 easy wins. I mean, round 3 got a little bit sketchy against Weichel when he got his back for a little bit. But I mean, he's had no problems in Bellator, man. Like, and the problem is Johns is a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's a good fighter. But you mentioned it. Where is he fucking better here?
Yeah.
He's not a better wrestler. That's for fucking damn sure. He's not a better striker. That's for damn sure. So then how the fuck is he going to win? And then when you look at it a little bit deeper, right? He has 3 losses in his career, John. You know against who? All very good grapplers.
Yep. And I mean, he's also, I mean, if you want to talk about one of them, like the Munoz fight, you could see he's just not, I don't want to say he's fragile, but he's like he's not physical, you know? He's very easy to out physical, whereas I think
he got
Kisry
dropped 3 times against Munoz.
Yeah.
And that's not good. That is not good. That tells me, you know what that tells me? That tells me the fact that, one, that fight never hit the ground. He never got a takedown there. That's one. And 2, if it's a prolonged striking battle, he's probably going to get chinned. That's my thing here. And I don't think Kisriev is going to grapple it beyond. He doesn't need to. He's a much better striker of these 2 guys. Faster, more technical, more layered. He goes up and down. He hits the body.
He's also way bigger.
And way bigger. So the end of the day here is like, he's minus 350. And the line, by the way, has been absolutely keep going up. And I fucked up because I should have bet it when it was minus 2 something. And I knew it was short and I didn't. And now it's, what the heck is it now?
350 right now.
It's 355. Yeah. I mean, when it was, I looked at it earlier, it was like 250 or 2 something, 220. I'm like, I should bet this. This is very fucking short. And I'm like, nah, there's a lot of people that are going to come in on Johns. He's the more bigger name, right? I fucked up. The line went up. And so I will say, I think he's a great parlay piece if you want to do that. I honestly think in this fight, I'm going to, again, props are not really open market wide. You know, Kisriev by KO, man. I think he's going to knock him out, to be honest. If you watch a lot of his fights, and here's what I'll say. Don't just look at stats. Don't look at the fact that, oh, Kisriev, let me see. Only 3 knockouts. He's gone a decision so many times. But like fucking Smolin was hurt a million times. Weichel was hurt a couple of times. Fucking Justin Gonzalez was hurt a couple of times.
Like Weichel's a real featherweight, you know? Like and so is Gonzalez. Everybody. Yeah.
So I honestly think that knockout is pretty live here. He hits hard. I'm telling you guys. It doesn't show it on his stats, but Kisriev hits hard. So
and he's very sharp.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I think Brett Johns, this is like a terrible, terrible matchup for Brett. Like, if you were to handpick a terrible matchup, this is one of them for him. And, you know, Johns needs to get his grappling going, and I just don't see it in this fight. Moving on. Fight number 6. It is in a featherweight division. It is the 18-2 Adam Borix versus the 27-2 Enrique Barzola. I'm on the fence here, honestly. I want to bet Barzola at plus 130. My mind is telling me, actually he's 135 now, but my mind is saying yes. Bet Barzola, but my heart is like, no, don't do it. It's like one of those where Barzola fights for your money. That's my thing as a dog, right? But like he's moving up to 45 again. Borix is the bigger guy. And like when I watch Borix, it's like he can get taken down, but the guy just pops right fucking back up every fucking time. And so it's like on the feet, he's the better striker. It's not even close, to be honest, because I feel like Barzola's striking is just to set up takedowns. Like he's literally winging shots to try to get you to your legs. So it's like, can I get to, like, I was hoping 180, maybe 170, but like 135, I don't know if I can get to that price. I do kind of feel like this is going to go to distance at a pretty high clip, but the price sucks, right? What's the goes the distance here?
It's definitely huge.
It's probably a shitty price.
It is 325 at the over, 295 for good.
I'm not touching that. But yeah, I just feel like this goes the distance. I don't blame people if they're going to take a shot on Barzola. Like, he fights for your money, right? Guy fights for your money. He's going to keep going. He's going to keep going for takedowns. He's got a gas tank, for fucking 15 rounds. So, yeah, I mean, I see it. I see it. You know, if If he can land takedowns, you're probably going to feel good. But if he can't, you're kind of shit. You're shit out of luck there. So it's going to be a pass for me, honestly, at this price.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. And like, I'd take probably the 170, 180 range. But like, I've bet Barzola a bunch. But like, Barzola's at his best as a counter grappler. When he takes on these wrestlers who just want to go, like Mikhailov or Darian Caldwell, guys like that who just want to grapple you, or Jalen Bates. Because he does throw ground and pound, and he's almost impossible to hold down. Plus, he has an endless gas tank. Like, that's great. The problem is, as a striker, I think he's somewhat plodding. You mentioned it. Borck is bigger. He's longer. He's got better footwork. He should be able to land on him pretty easily on the outside. And, like, I do think Barzola can get takedowns in all likelihood. But, like, who has he controlled? Like, Barzola's never really controlled anybody unless they're gassed out. So it would be surprising to me if Barzola got like 5 to 6 minutes of control against Borck. And if he's not going to get that, is he going to control him on the fence? I kind of doubt it. He doesn't do a good job holding guys there. So it's like you basically need a combination of Barzola hitting takedowns and landing enough so optics are good for him to win the fight, which could happen. It's probably going to be a competitive fight. I just feel like Borck is going to land way more. I think he's going to land harder and a lot more precise. My biggest concern on the Borck side would just be, look, we just saw this with the guys in the Pitbull fight. The guy is really dumb sometimes. Like, he threw those flying knees like 3 times and ended up on bottom. Like, that's the kind of shit you worry about with Borck's juice. But when I look at it, I just feel like Barzola has very limited finishing upside. I don't think he's very likely to top time him. So it's like mostly going to be striking, and I lean Borck's there pretty strong. So yeah, if it gets to 70, 80, like a bet on Barzola to like kind of outwork him and get a couple takedowns, I think makes sense. I don't think it makes sense, though, at the current price where, like, he's probably going to be getting volumes for a good portion of this fight. So I lean Borck slightly. I'd say like -1. Maybe the line's a tad wide now, like -140. I think I'd make Borck, but I wouldn't play Barzola 135,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just not enough there for me. And, Borck.
I wanted to play him. I honestly did.
Borck went to +105. I just looked at that. Oh my God, I missed it. I would have played it.
It crashed, completely crashed. I mean, Dixon Sider said it too. Judge has been favoring damage over control, which is true. Yeah. I mean, Barzola, if either of them is to hurt the other, I feel like pretty confident it'll be Borck hurting Barzola.
Yeah. I don't see Barzola hurting Borck. No way. Yeah. On the feet, you mean? Then
yeah.
I don't see it. Yeah. Let's move on. Fight 7 in the featherweight division. It is the 21-7 Bubba Jenkins versus the 12-5-1 Kai Kamaka the third. John, what do you got?
I bet Bubba -125. I mean, it's possible he's totally washed now. I mean, he took a lot of damage in his last fight, and he's 36. But I look at the fight, and like Kai Kamaka, he's gone to a split decision in 4 of his last 7 fights, and not exactly against like particularly high output guys. Like actually some of them have been pretty low output guys. The guy just never really separates ever on the feet from anybody. He lacks finishing upside. He has 1 KO in his entire career. His only convincing wins were like Adley Edwards in his like 2 fights ago, who's like a complete bum. And now he's fighting Bubba Jenkins. And on the one hand, it's like, yeah, I mean, Kamaka is maybe the better striker, but like I felt like Kamaka was probably the better striker against Justin Gonzalez. I feel like he's been a better striker in a bunch of fights that he's lost or gone to a split decision in. So it's like Kamaka, I know, comes from a wrestling background, but I feel like even if he shuts Bubba down in the wrestling, it's probably a competitive decision. And if he doesn't shut Bubba down, and I don't think he's going to shut Bubba down in the wrestling, like the guy defended takedowns at 53% in the UFC. The last good grappler he fought, like legitimately good grappler, Jonathan Pierce, broke him and finished him. Now, I think Pierce is better on top than Bubba is, but he's not a better wrestler than Bubba is. I know Kamaka's had some decent get-ups, but like he gives his back up, and Bubba's like one of these guys. If you watch his fights with like Palmer and some of the other guys he's blanketed, if you give him the back clinch and he gets his hands locked, it's almost like Merab, where it's like almost impossible to break his grip. Like he's really good at getting height and just holding guys in those positions, kneeing them, and just controlling them there. And so like I look at it, and I mean, could Kamaka chin him? Is it possible Bubba's chin is gone after the fight with Pinedo? It's possible, and he's 36. But short of that, I feel like striking's probably going to be competitive, lean Kamaka, but competitive. And he's giving away an inch in height and 3 in reach. And then you factor in the grappling. It's like, I know Bubba's going to get takedowns here. If he doesn't, he's totally washed. But like I expect him to get takedowns, and so a competitive striking fight where only one guy has real grappling upside. If you tell me that Bubba gets 4 takedowns in limited control, but it's more or less close on the feet, he's like minus 150. If you tell me he gets like moderate control, I think he's like a big favorite. So yeah, I made Bubba like minus 180 here personally. I just feel like Kamaka just doesn't separate from anybody, and Bubba actually has tools to separate on minutes. So yeah, I like the Bubba side here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. I do think he gets takedowns. I do think Bubba's going to get taken because this is the best wrestler he's ever faced. Put it that way. It's not even close, honestly. Like who's better than Jenkins that he's faced? Who?
Yeah, I mean, he won 2 national titles.
Fucking TJ Brown and Jonathan Pierce. Those guys can't wrestle half as good as fucking he can, you know? And, you know, those guys got takedowns, right? Those guys got takedowns. Now, the issue, kind of like what you said, is the grappling aspect when it comes to jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, is Bubba just doesn't have it as good as those other guys, right? So the thing is, Bubba can stick to you like glue, though. When he gets you down, it's like he can rinse and repeat and keep going and hold you like in that clinch, like you said, that you cannot fucking break his grip. I will say that I like Kamaka. When he does get taken down, has a lot of urgency to get back up. Like, he's not fucking around. He does not want to sit there, right? On the feet, though, so Kamaka, I think, is the better technical striker. The issue I have with Kamaka is he gets clipped a lot, man. In every single fight, he's getting clipped a lot. His defense is just not there. He's got, like, I think he's the type of guy that, here's the thing. I like his striking. It's actually technical and good. But he's the type of guy that when he's striking, he is admiring his work instead of getting out of the pocket. And so he gets clipped. Huh? He's taking pictures.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of there, dude. Like, your striking is good, but why are you sitting there to get clipped? And he does that a lot in every fucking fight. So it's like, okay, Henry Corrales is a very good fighter. Like, it's Henry Corrales, right? He's an OG, 37 years old, like, been there forever. But like, that was a close fucking fight against Henry Corrales, you know? And there really wasn't any grappling that I can recall. Was there any grappling in that fight?
Corrales took him down once, I think, but it was not, he didn't really try to grapple him.
Yeah, he didn't even try. Yeah. So it's like, okay, you know, you're going to split against TJ Brown. You're going to, you know, majority draw against Danny Chavez. You know, his wins are just who? Kevin Baum? Adley Edwards? Like who are these wins? Are just like, you know, I don't know about this guy. So I'm kind of on your side for Jenkins. My concern is the fact that I don't like his gas tank, to be honest. That's my huge concern with him. Not even his chin. I don't think his chin is bad, to be honest. Like, he was getting clipped left, right, and center. I mean, he took a lot of fucking damage before he got finished, right? It wasn't like one punch and he's out. And I don't even think Kamaka has like a one-punch knockout in him, to be honest. So then at the end of the day, it's like the gas tank is what concerns me, because I do think Kamaka has a good gas tank, but Jenkins is very worried. Like, if he doesn't get takedowns, or if he does and he works back up and he has to make him keep working, then I got a big issue. Like, that's where I'm a little afraid, right? So I think I'm going to take a poke, honestly, on round 3, Kamaka. I have to.
I don't think that's bad. I mean, I think that makes sense.
I have to, just because I do think that there's a world where if he's not getting his takedowns, he's going to gas. I feel
like most Kamaka wins run through Bubba slowing down, to be honest. I'd be very surprised if Kamaka won round 1.
100%. Most of his wins are because of that. And guess what? He's got one knockout, John, and it's in round 3. So, you know, it's against Kevin Baum, whatever. But when you look at Bubba, right, he's getting finished via adversity most of the time of late, right? He's breaking down, he's getting tired, and he's getting finished. It's not like,
I mean, he's had some ugly round 3s. The Moffitt fight in round 3 was pretty ugly for him.
he's looked terrible in round 3. So it's like, okay, I have to. It's probably a huge number. I didn't even look at it because I'm waiting
I'll
for
tell
domestics.
you right now.
Domestics don't have it yet.
1,200.
I mean, yeah, you're probably going to get 1,500-1,600 when it opens on FanDuel and stuff, So, I mean, it's just the sprinkle that I think is worth it just because of the gas tank issues. But I'm going to stay off this fight, to be honest. My cardio concern is too much for me. If he had good cardio, I would play him 100%.
Yeah.
But we know he doesn't. And he's fucking 36, So
that's my biggest concern, honestly, is it's like
coming off a
it's funny.
KO.
The thing is, like the last fight, I heard a couple people mention the KO, and I'm like, man, Pinedo is gigantic and hits like a truck. Like Kamaka's got like pillow fist, but like 36, you never know. If his body starts breaking down, like the guy's been wrestling since he was 6 years old. Like you don't know if his body's going to start breaking down. Like that is my biggest concern by far.
Oh no. Look at what Locker Room said.
It better be a fucking sub. If he comes out brawling, I will not be happy.
That is not. No, the reason why I say that's not good is because if he tries to go for the finish and doesn't get it, now that's a disaster. It's a disaster come round 3. But, yeah, I mean, Bubba talks a lot too, though. He's always talking about finishing and doing this and that.
That's what you got to do when you're a boring fighter, though.
Yeah. Round 8. Okay, fighting round 8. I'm out of it. Fight number 8 in the welterweight division. It is the 28-6 Goti Yamauchi versus the 12-4 Neiman Gracie. And this is my hot take of the week. And I got Gracie at 240, plus 240. I mean, the line has gone down substantially. Probably the Discord nuked it. Actually, I still see 240 out there. If you have MGM.
Where? I don't have MGM.
MGM is still sitting at 240. Now, here's my thing. I go back and I watched their previous fight. Was Goti winning that fight? Yeah, sure. He was winning it. Close margins, kind of. But like he was getting his face jabbed off, at one point. I think that on top of that, that was 2 years ago, right? On top of that, I think Neiman Gracie, honestly, when I look at his fighting, I think he's probably improving a little bit in the striking, right? This guy was like not a very good striker at all, right? And the striking is improving. And to be honest, when I watched them when they were on the feet, I think Neiman Gracie is probably the better striker of the two. Yamauchi is all about fucking subs all of his career. And he lands that stupid uppercut after putting his hands down and eating it's like whatever. Okay, he knocked him out. But guys, prior to that fucking fight, he was a minus 200. Okay? Fucking Gracie was a minus 200 in that fight. And you're telling me after that fight, all of a sudden now, Yamauchi is a minus 280 because he knocked him out in round 3 after coming off like a terrible knee. His injury in his knee is one of the worst knee injuries you can have. It's when he popped that knee. It's like one of the worst knee injuries. Dude, how the hell is this guy minus 280? And second of all, I do want to say this. Yamauchi in that first fight caught his kick twice. Caught Gracie's kick twice. Gracie landed on his back, and guess what? Yamauchi did not want to go in his guard. What does that fucking tell you? To me, that tells me that he doesn't want to mess with the grappling against this guy. So he told him, get back up, right? So it's like, how do we get to minus 280 here? In what world? I don't understand. I think this is when I tape this fight extensively, I think this is an evens fight. If you watch the Storle fight, Gracie almost fucking knocked out Storle in round 4. I don't know if people forget that. Storle hurt him in the same round as well. But I don't understand this line. Yamauchi, he's a submission merchant. He is, in my opinion, he is not fucking subbing Gracie in this fight. It's just not happening. So it's like, okay, it's on the feet. It's a 15-minute striking match. So Yamauchi is a minus 280 now in a 15-minute striking match. No fucking way. No chance. I think this line's like way the hell off. But John, what do you think?
With you 100%. I'm with you 100%, to be honest. What's funny? I have a hot take about the first fight. Like when I rewatched it yesterday, and the first 2 minutes, like Gracie's having a ton of success standing. Then he gets dropped. And if you look at his body, I'm pretty sure he went out like the first time he got knocked down in round 1. Like his body just kind of like felt like he got shot. And he got up and he never really seemed to like kind of get his head back into it. And we see that happen all the time. But round 2, before the knockout, he seemed to be picking up steam. He was starting to land his jab. He was landing leg kicks. He was getting off more volume. I mean, credit to Goiti for the knockout. It was sick. I mean, he just timed it perfectly with Niemann dipping. It is what it is. But I'm with you. I mean, look, the bottom line is Gracie is a better grappler than Goiti. And I mean, I love Goiti. He's a fun fighter. I think on the feet, like I said, I think volume is going to be close. You know, I mean, you look at that fight, and Goiti had 2 huge moments standing in that fight. Otherwise, it was close to a 50-50 fight. So, I mean, I think it's a super competitive fight here. Niemann's way bigger. I'm still not totally sold on Goiti at 170, to be honest. Even watching their fight, he looked a bit doughy, and it was his first fight at 170. Obviously, the Page fight, he died to the first kick that got thrown to his leg. But I actually think if Niemann ties him up here a bit in the clinch, he might be able to get on top. And given what happened in the first fight, I'm kind of thinking he's going to probably pursue the grappling a bit harder than he did the first time. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with you 100%. It's not like, dude, it's not like Niemann fought a bunch of bums and then walked into Goiti. You know, this guy, he went basically 50-50 with Jason Jackson, you know, who would smoke Goiti.
I forgot to mention that. Timeout.
Yeah.
He actually took down Jason Jackson.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That guy's an elite wrestler.
Yeah. Like that was a competitive fight. I bet Jackson was sweating my balls off like all fight in that fight. So like I'm with you. I like the Gracie side. I also bet over. Like I feel like the line on the under is like being skewed towards what happened in the first fight. These guys collectively have been finished twice in their entire careers, Goiti and Gracie. And yeah, I mean, Goiti caught him with a perfect uppercut, but like, how predictable is that? Like, I honestly don't think either is getting KO'd at a high clip, and I don't think either is getting subbed at a high clip. I honestly like it to go the distance, and I like Gracie here.
I'll tell you how predictable it is. Fucking Goiti only has 3 knockouts in his whole
That's what I'm saying! Yeah!
2 of them have come the last, like, 2 times. One was ground and pound, I think, and one... Like, this guy's not a knockout guy. He's not a stand-up guy.
He lost the decision to Dan Moret, man. Like,
who went 50-50?
That happened.
Fucking Gracie went 50-50 with Jason Jackson, man.
Yeah.
How is this possible? How is this line right? Look at
I'm
the guys.
with you 100%.
Look at the guys. Guys, just look at the guys that Gracie has lost to, man. The top of the top guys. Literally. You know, it's fine. Goiti is I'm not saying he's a bad fighter. He's a good fighter. But, like, the level of competition is very close, right? Even though this guy's been in the game much longer. But, like, if you're comparing a loss to Dan Moret compared to the losses from this guy, it's not close.
It's crazy.
Now, I watched the Dan Moret fight, and I do think Goiti probably won 2-1.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be that sweaty against Dan Moret. Like, what are you doing, dude? You know? So it's like, no fucking way this line is right, honestly. I'm telling you guys, if it's down to 150, I would still hit Gracie. I still think it's a good line because I think this is a 50-50 fight, and I agree with John. I think if he grapples like he did it in the fight against last one against Shiro, who I will say is not easy to take down. Go watch the Shiro Storle fight.
Yeah,
is he easy to take down? And somehow,
yeah, he gave Logan a fight.
Yeah, and I mean, Gracie was taking him down left, right, and center, you know? So I think he might grapple a little here against Yamauchi, which is something that hardly anybody does, right? Because they're afraid of his jiu-jitsu, but Gracie's not afraid of his jiu-jitsu. I think it's the opposite, to be honest. From watching that first fight, I kind of feel like Yamauchi might be scared of Gracie's jiu-jitsu more. So, I mean, I didn't go back and watch the Jenkins fight where he lost. Did Jenkins grapple him? I would be interested to see.
I didn't watch that either.
I need to go back and see it because I'm assuming Jenkins probably grappled him. And if that's the case, then fuck. You know, Gracie should try to grapple here, you know?
I think he's going to, especially after that first fight.
I promise you, I think he's the better striker. I'm not lying. Yeah. He can use leg kicks. He can use leg kicks. Goiti doesn't use shit. Like his hands are down. Like he's not really a good striker at all.
He's a bigger hitter too, Gracie is, in my opinion, by a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the first fight kind of told us otherwise, but yeah, I mean, I don't think like the problem with Gracie is I kind of feel like he doesn't sit down well on his punches because he's not really used to it, you know. But let's move on. That was a long breakdown. But guys, I mean, I'm telling you, maybe it loses, but Gracie at this price is stupid. It's recency bias. That's all it is. Fight number 9, featherweight division, 12-1. Gabriel Alves Braga versus the 14-3 Justin Gonzalez. And John, this one's yours.
Yeah, I honestly like briefly considered a Gonzalez bet, and then I dove pretty deep in the tape. I have like, on the one hand, the Wade fight gives me a lot of pause on the Braga fight, just because I know Wade is known for his grappling, but it's really more counter grappling than offensive like wrestling. And I didn't like how easy Wade got in on his hips and was able to get him down, which concerns me against a guy like Gonzalez. At the same time, Braga, he was never really able to consolidate anything against here. And like, to me, that's the big question on the fight. Like, can Gonzalez get on top and like consolidate and get significant top time? Because on the feet, like, I mean, Braga, he's just so much faster. He hits so much harder. I mean, the leg kicks, he kicks out of both stances. He's going to punish Gonzalez badly here standing. I do think it's possible that Gonzalez can get him down and potentially hold him there, but I'm not super confident in it because Braga actually looks like a decent grappler to me. Had I not seen the Wade fight, I'd actually be somewhat bullish on Braga at like minus 180. But yeah, I mean, that fight concerns me because I think Gonzalez is a better wrestler at any weight, maybe not grappler, but better wrestler than Wade is. And so like, I do think he can get takedowns here. My gut is that like at plus 200, I would have been interested in poking Gonzalez and taking the asking that question at that price. My gut is, though, that Braga is schooled enough that he should be able to get up. Like, he didn't really try to play guard at all against Wade, which is always my biggest pet peeve with these Brazilian guys. He was pretty urgent about getting up. And I just think the hardware gap on the feet is just gigantic here. Like, Gonzalez, I like Gonzalez. He's a decent fighter, but he's a medium, kind of like Kamaka. He's a medium volume fighter with not a lot of power. So it's like, if he can't control Braga here, I kind of think he's drawing a bit dead. So yeah, I mean, I lean Braga, but no bet.
Yeah, I haven't bet it yet, but Justin Gonzalez just wins on such thin margins.
He does, yeah.
He's just not really very good at anything, in my opinion. Like, what is he good at? His striking is not very good. His grappling is not all that. So it's like, at the end of the day, what is this guy good at? And you know what he's good at? Is he's tough as shit. He's a tough guy. He's hard to get out of there. But I mean, when I look at Braga, I think he's way more technical on the feet. He can switch stances really. I love how he just
way faster too.
I mean, the way he switches from southpaw to orthodox, it looks like this guy really practices that all the fucking time. Like, he's really comfortable in both positions. And the one thing I like about Braga is his calmness in the cage. It's like he's really calm. He doesn't waste a lot of energy. Pinedo got him out of there, but Pinedo's just like a different animal in there. He's wild. He's coming after you. He doesn't give a shit if you hit him. His chin is really good. Like, it's just hard to deal with a guy like that, right? And he eventually finished Braga in round 3. But, you mentioned, the takedowns against Wade, and yeah, it's a little bit of a concern. I just don't think Gonzalez can hold him down, bro. Like, I really don't. Braga does a good job getting back up. One thing I will say that's very important, Gonzalez holds a pretty wide stance when he's striking, and Mads Burnell hit his leg quite often in that fight. And in round 3, go back and watch it, he hit him with a big calf kick and dropped him. And then he laid on his back the whole round. I don't know if he fucked up his leg or what at that point. But the way Burnell kicks and the way Braga kicks is night and day. You don't want to take too many calf kicks from Braga. And I think that's a huge thing in this fight, to be honest. Because I've seen Gonzalez switch stances, but Braga switches stances and kicks from both sides. So he can fuck up both legs. He's an equal opportunity type of kicker. So the problem is, Braga's dad is no longer in his corner. God rest his soul. He passed away. And I don't know how that's going to affect him mentally. I do think he fought that Pinedo fight with his dad already had
in his
passed
corner.
away.
Oh, had he? I'm not even sure.
I think so. I don't remember, but I think so. I'm not 100% sure. But it's got to affect him one way or another at this point, right? Like, it's your dad. It's your, he even put some posts about his dad. He's always in his corner. That's the other thing. He's in his corner. It's not like he's a fan or something. He's in his corner all the time. So, I'm hesitant on betting Braga because of kind of that. But I honestly think he should roll here against Gonzalez. Is just he's not dangerous.
He's a generalist, is what he is, kind of.
Yeah, and he's just not dangerous enough for Braga to worry about anything coming back. Like,
yeah, I agree. That was my read as well. I'm just a bit. I'm with, if Braga can get up easily, he's going to butcher him. I don't think. I'm pretty sure Gonzalez can't hang on the feet. Pretty positive.
He's going to butcher him. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
he's going to butcher him. And Gonzalez has never been stopped. I think he's going to be stopped in round 3 here. If he can't have success in the grappling, I think he's going to chop his legs off, dude. He literally is.
The under is a huge pressure.
Under is big, but it's all correlated, I think, to Braga, man.
To Braga.
I don't think Gonzalez can get him out of there. How?
Braga 3 is 900.
That's
Braga KO 350 is almost better than that, to be honest. But
yeah, 9. It's only that low, 900.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Isn't the fight to go like huge plus?
Yeah, it's like it's minus 200 to go.
Well, what the heck?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Let me see. Oh wait, FanDuel has it. Oh baby, 1600.
Really?
Now we're talking. Now we're cooking.
I might take this with you right
now.
Here.
We're cooking. It's 1600 on FanDuel.
That is pretty good.
I think it's not a bad bet. 1600. I think he can butcher the leg and possibly get something like that later. I think these other books opened it up too, actually. Yeah. There's some other books that have opened it. So we'll see. I like Braga here. I think he wins here pretty convincingly, to be honest. Moving on, fight number 10. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 15-2 Logan Storle versus 16-0-1 Shamil Musayev. You know what? I'll give this to you because you have a strong take, I think, on this one. Go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't bet it. I'm kind of hoping the undefeated Russian takes some money here, but I really think Musayev is pretty fraudulent. I know he got 4 wins in KSW, including one against Alexei Kunchenko. But almost all of them are coming in the first 2 minutes of the fight. He's landing big spinning stuff and not a lot else. He went to a draw with what's his name? I'll tell you in a second.
Pitzerik.
Yeah, Makh Pitzerik. And I thought his ground game looked pretty poor in that fight. Even his striking, it's okay, but it didn't seem like anything really special to me. I look at this fight and my feeling is this guy's kind of dynamic and he can finish guys early, but I think he's pretty predictable in the stuff he throws. And once you kind of get a beat on it, I don't think he's that tough to deal with. And even before his little cup of tea in KSW, he fought basically no one, just complete can after can after can. Plus, he was in KSW, so he was probably on steroids, and he's probably not now coming over here. And now he's fighting Logan. I know Logan's not a Russian, but Logan's one of the best wrestlers in MMA. Very, very good wrestler, very, very good top game, pretty good boxer. I look at the fight, and I'm like, Logan's got better cardio. I think as long as he doesn't get chinned in the first 2 to 3 minutes of this fight, Musayev is going to be mostly drawing dead. I feel like he's just got to keep his head on a swivel here and look out for spinning stuff. But I think once he kind of just picks up on what Musayev's doing, he's just going to take over and maul him here. I just think Logan's honestly better everywhere, more tested, has fought and beaten better guys. I would like better than minus 200. I'm still holding out hope that the undefeated Russian, as his tradition, takes some money here. But I honestly think this should be very, very easy for Logan Storle.
I'm surprised you think he's the better striker, though? Storle?
I don't know about better, but I think his striking is more I feel like Musayev is kind of messy, it's he doesn't seem to have much of a plan. It's he looks good, but I feel like he's just throwing a lot of shit out there,
Yeah, he throws a lot of spinning stuff. I do think his striking is okay. I don't think it's.
Yeah.
I think it's better than Storle's, to be honest. But you mentioned it, like this Petzeric fight. He got mounted in round 1. I don't know if you remember, but he mounted his ass in round 1. He did hurt Petzeric in round 1 early, but he got like 2 takedowns, I think, Petzeric, and then got mount. He got another takedown in round 2, I believe, or round 3. I can't remember. He got another takedown.
I think it was 3.
Emil did get up. But the main issue I have here, okay, you know, fine. You beat Konchenko, but Konchenko's 39 years old. He's done. Like, this is not the same Konchenko.
He might be 50.
And the other thing is, you landed like a perfect like spinning shot right to the liver. Like, okay, how often are you going to replicate that? You know what I'm saying? I don't think this guy is very good, to be honest. This Shamil guy, I kind of agree with you. I think is semi-fraudulent here. And, you know, Storle's mine. The only thing I will say is I kind of wish if this was a 5-round fight, I would be way more happier than bet Storle, honestly. But 3-round fight, I could see where, you know, this guy has the bigger moments where maybe he wobble. Because Storle, like I mentioned, Gracie rocked him. Like he's definitely a little shaky in the stand-up.
He's
like,
gotten buzzed before a few times.
Exactly. And it kind of scares me because this guy is kind of like one of those wild card type of guys. He's throwing these crazy shit that you don't see coming. So that does scare me a bit. But I kind of feel like this fight has like over potential. I mean, goes the distance type of fight. I don't think Storle's finishing this guy on the ground, to be honest.
Dude, Storle didn't finish Michael Page on the ground. He's happy to just sit there.
Yeah. And then, you know, he did finish somebody of late, but
Ward.
Yeah, Ward. But we already mentioned Ward is like 1 round or bust, right? So yeah, I do think Logan should win here, honestly, at a pretty decent clip. I just can't get to this price in a 3. Like I've been telling you, if it was 5 rounds,
fair.
I'd be happy to bet Logan here at 5 rounds because I think he washes this guy later in the fight, right? But
yeah, I'm not going to take 220, but like 190 if it got there, I would jump in on Storle. I think.
You think it gets there though? Like
it's been all Storle money. I was thinking it might be like a pick 'em, but it's been and
it's going the other way. I kind of feel like maybe you missed it. You know?
Yeah, it might be.
Maybe you missed it just because like now I just feel like it's going. You know,
and even Storle by decision is kind of shit. It's like
you can't play that. It's too low. It's too low. All right, let's move on. Co-main event. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 27-5 Brandon Lochain versus the 13-8 Pedro Carvalho. And I'll kick this one off. I mean, I think this line's wide. I haven't played it, but like Brandon Lochain minus 550, like with no grappling upside, like. Okay, why? Like, are we saying he's just gonna chop Carvalho's leg off? And then the other thing is like Lochain. I said this in the Discord. Look at his knockouts. Leg kick against Marlon Moraes. Bubba Jenkins was all leg kicks. He had no legs anymore, and he finished him. And then the last fucking other one was against Shaman Moraes. You know what I'm saying? And then before that, it was a leg kick and a head kick. Like, so that just tells me like this guy really doesn't have like that power in his hands. And like, that's the one concern, obviously, with Carvalho, right? His chin is kind of like iffy. I just don't think Lochain has that power to like chin him, to be honest. Yeah, like that Polish guy dropped, but I think that Polish guy hits harder than Lochain does. And it's like Carvalho can fight both southpaw and orthodox. He switches stances a lot, so he can kind of get rid of that leg kick from Lochain. And I just feel like he has a little bit more dog in him, to be honest. Like Lochain in some of these fights has looked very iffy to me. So how do you get to minus 550? Like that, is he 90? It's like 88%, 87% in this fight. Like how? I don't understand how, but you know, to me, Carvalho is not the best fighter, don't get me wrong, but he's a pretty tough guy, honestly, at the end of the day.
He's better than Ryoji Kudo.
Yeah, and he's 28 years old. He's fucking 28 years old. So it's like 400. Okay, I'm not gonna bet it because I know people are gonna parlay Lochain and all this stuff. So if you're gonna give me 500, 550, then I'm glad to take a small poke on Carvalho.
Yeah, I really don't want to do it. Like, I hate betting on Pedro Carvalho just because I feel like he reacts like so poorly to getting hit. But I'm with everything you said. I mean, like, to your point, the almost bigger thing for me is like Brendan Lochain. Like, he won that championship. I bet him against Bubba in that fight. But like, this guy's had a couple really ugly performances the last couple years where, even you go back to the Diamond fight, not like, Diamond was basically on death's door, and somehow this guy is mauling you in round 3 of that fight.
Dude, he almost fucking mauled him and killed him in round 3.
Yeah. I mean, their Kudo fight, Kudo almost beat him in that fight, and it wasn't just that Kudo hurt him. That was like a legitimately competitive fight, and Ryoji Kudo is not very good. Even the early portions of the Bubba fight, to your point, Narco, you mentioned like he basically won it via leg kicks. That's literally how he won the fight. But Bubba was striking with him okay, like with his hands on the feet, which in theory he should have no business doing, So like I'm kind of with you because like Carvalho is gonna come forward, he's gonna put volume out there. It's like it's a matter of, to me, it's like really the question you're asking is how often is Lochain finishing him? Because if he doesn't finish him, I kind of think it probably plays out like pretty close, to be honest, just on volume. Like Carvalho hits hard himself and has like some dangerous jiu-jitsu. It's not like Carvalho hasn't fought anybody. This isn't Ryoji Kudo, some rando who's coming over to PFL. Like the guy's fought like the best guys in the world in Bellator. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. My gut is that Lochain's going to either pepper his leg or knock him out just because I really don't like how Carvalho reacts to shots. But at the same time, to get to like 87% on Lochain, it's like the guy's not going to grapple Carvalho. He's not going to take him down. It's like either he's going to throw 5 kicks and Carvalho's leg's going to collapse, or the line is off. Like what other way could it possibly? Because I don't think Lochain's that durable. Honestly, I really don't. And Carvalho can crack a bit. So I'm with you. I'm going to watch the line. I'm not going to go put anything serious on it, but maybe like 0.25, 0.3 units on it or something. But I'm with you.
I think you have to bet. You have to bet at this price. You have to bet Carvalho. Honestly, you have to.
I mean, Lochain. What? Actually, I'm looking at him right now. The last time Lochain went to a decision, I can't even really remember the last time he went to a decision that wasn't competitive.
All of them.
Yeah,
maybe that Usyk.
Yeah, but Usyk's a bum.
Yeah, that's it.
Kudo was competitive. That's crazy.
I don't see how they get to this price. Like, okay, he's probably gonna win Lochain, but
yeah, I would say like minus 250 seems like a reasonable price, but like minus 500 for a guy that's not with not much grappling upside. That's
and Carvalho
and like Call of Duty just said it in the chat, but like, dude, Lochain is not that young anymore, and is coming off a pretty bad KO. He's been hurt a few times recently. So
yeah. Let's move on. Main event. It is in a welterweight division. It is the 27-4 Andrei Korkov versus the 14-0 Magomed Umalatov. John, this one's yours. Last one of the night.
Yeah, when I looked, so I taped this late last night, and it was minus 22 Umalatov at the time, and I was like, I'm almost definitely going to bet him. So I went to tape it, and my recollection of Umalatov was a lot different than what I actually saw in tape. I had recalled him being, and he's not a bad striker by any means, don't get me wrong, but I had recalled him being super fast and super slick, and like, he's a solid striker, but I don't actually think he's that fast. And he obviously hits hard, but I kind of think like, and I'll be curious to hear your opinion on it, but I kind of think technically he's fine. Like, he's nothing special. He's not someone who I think would be like coming for the title in the UFC or anything like that. As a grappler, he's okay, but he doesn't really have that same, like, despite the name, like that kind of same level of wrestling as some of the other OVs over in Russia. He's a solid fighter. He's obviously dangerous. He hits hard. I think he has potential cardio issues. I kind of think he can get hit himself. And now he's fighting Andrei Korshkov. And like I said it to you before we came on here, my biggest concern with Korshkov is I just feel like he might be declining. Like the guy's had 30 fights. I thought he looked pretty bad down the stretch with Larkin in his last fight. But honestly, like looking at the tape, like I feel like Korshkov's the better striker. I think he's the better kicker. I honestly think he might be the better wrestler. And obviously of the two, he's way more experienced and fought way better guys. Like I would not make Korshkov the favorite just because I think Umalatov does hit harder and is more live to KO. And obviously we've seen Korshkov hurt a few times in the past. But to me, I'm looking at it and it feels like this should be a close fight. Like I think Korshkov can match the wrestling or maybe even outperform him there. I think Korshkov leg kicks could be big. The big question for me with Korshkov is just where is he at in his career? Like I know he's had a ton of visa issues. He's had a ton of issues getting over to the States. He hasn't been super active. And I didn't love how he looked against Larkin. But man, you have a guy with like 2.5 times the fights who's fought a superior level of competition and is a really strong kickboxer. I really can't get past like minus 120 for Umalatov. I don't know if I'll enter on Korshkov, but I'm thinking about it. It seems like a really competitive fight to me. What do you think?
Yeah, man. I haven't made a bet yet, but line's off to me. Like when you look at these guys' resumes, I mean, it's not fucking close. And then
it's a joke. Look at Umalatov's wins in PFL. Sorry.
Bro, Umalatov lost the fucking round to Naib guy. Who he had on death's door in round 1 and he couldn't finish him. That guy, honestly, that Naib guy, you know, he was 16-0 coming in this fight. But let me tell you something. That dude is a bum. He sucks. And he took down Umalatov in that fight. So then I look at Korshkov, and you mentioned, you know, he didn't look great down the stretch there in round 3. But, like, Lorenz Larkin is a fucking tough out, man, against anybody, dude. Like, the guy hits like a fucking truck, right? We've seen what he did to that undefeated or Russian, or the guy Russian that had, like, one. I mean, that Russian is a good fucking fighter. What was his name? Berkamov or whatever, right?
Berkamov, yeah.
He's a good fucking fighter. And we saw what Larkin did to that dude, man. Like, Larkin has faced the best of the best, too. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, like, the first fight they fought was very close. The second fight they fought was they just match up really well, Larkin and Korshkov, right? And when I look at Umalatov, and it's like, but who has he beat? Who has he fucking beat that he's a favorite in this fight?
Delano Taylor?
It's you know what they're saying? They're saying Korshkov is washed, right?
Yeah.
But I can't really take that from tape, because when he fought Larkin the first time, it was also a very close fight, right? So it's like, why at this point is Korshkov a dog here? Like, why? Like, I just, to me, it doesn't make sense. I think he's the better technical striker. He has way more weapons, in my opinion. You know, you mentioned the power or the finishing ability. I think Korshkov is just as dangerous to finish, man. And, you know, we kind of mentioned the chin, but honestly, like, when's the last time he's been knocked out?
Has Korshkov ever been knocked out?
He has. I think it was
let's see.
Against Douglas Lima the first time.
Yeah.
But that was almost 10 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and he's faced some, like I said, Lorenz Larkin hits harder than Umalatov. I can almost guarantee you. You know what I'm saying? And he survived him in 2 fights. So it's like, I don't think.
Well, it's like, what's Korshkov lined against Delano Taylor, you know, or Naim Lopez, or Al Salawi? Yeah, exactly.
And what does he do to this fucking guy, that Naib guy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. You know, people are high on this Umalatov guy, but I honestly am not. Like, I get he's 14-0. He's at a good camp, you know, but he's beat guys that are not very good, in my opinion.
Where is he training?
He's at American Top Team. He's a good gym.
Oh, okay.
He's at ATT, and he's been training there for a while. Like, he's at a good gym.
He's 32 though. You know, he's only a year younger than Korshkov, which is kind of crazy.
He's not that much younger. So for me, I'm probably gonna get to a bet here on Korshkov. I don't know yet. I'm still deciding. Maybe I play it a different way. I kind of feel like I know it's maybe a hot take, but I feel like goes the distance here might not
like
be
that.
bad. Because I do think both guys are aware of each other's power and stuff, and it's kind of like at even money. Maybe I take that route instead of going the money line side and trying to guess, because I don't think it's that easy to knock out Korkov.
I was gonna say, are you even trying to guess at this point though? Because it's like I'm just like I feel like I need to go like deeper into tape on it, just because I'm like, you're not wrong everything you say. Like Korkov's been fighting basically the best Bellator has to offer for years, and Magomed Umalatov has fought Delano Taylor and Jarrah Al-Salawi. Those are quite literally the best wins of his entire career.
And now he's a favorite. That's what I'm saying. Like the guy just went 3 rounds with Naib Lopez, lost a round in one judge's scorecard to Naib Lopez, which is round 3.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's favored against Korkov. Why? I mean, you can't say Korkov is washed. That's my thing. It's like, that doesn't really hold water with me because he didn't look good towards the end against Larkin. You know, I don't think that holds weight because, like I said, in his prime when he fought Larkin, it was still a close fight. Larkin,
yeah, I mean,
one of those guys.
I legitimately wanted to bet Umalatov, and I was taping it, and like each fight I went through, I think I watched like his last 4 fights. I was like, I'm waiting for the moment to get me to why everybody's so hyped about him, and it just never really came, you know? I can't say it any other way, you know? He's good. He's a good fighter, but I don't see what's so special.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to pass the money line, like I said, unless it blows, because he's been going up a little bit. Korkov, if he gets to like 140, 150, I'm in.
Bro, he's there. He's at 139 right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
There's
big money on Umalatov today.
Oh my God. So I'm gonna just wait then. Maybe it hits 150.
Yeah. I think honestly could be a wait till fight time type deal, honestly. Yeah, like it could really blow out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't pass up there because I just don't see Umalatov covering that kind of price unless he finishes. But I think so the other thing to look at is like, what adversity have we seen from Umalatov, bro? Like
zero.
How about if this guy gets hit and crumbles? How do we know?
It's true.
Literally, we don't know. So it's like, I don't know. I have to bet Korkov in this fight, honestly. Like he's more proven. He's fought the better level opposition. He's been in adverse situations. So many things that you need in MMA that I haven't seen from Umalatov, to be honest. So 653 live viewers. Incredible. Wow. For a PFL card. PFL 3, man. I appreciate you guys so much for giving me the support. I appreciate John for coming on here, helping me out today, break down this for the people. With that being said, guys, one more thing. Link down below for my Discord. If you guys want to get in, it's $25 a month. Well worth it. I'm telling you guys.
It is
week after week, live betting. They just printing. And last week I wasn't even there, and apparently they printed even more. So
Weili Zhang minus 115 after 3 rounds.
Yeah, I mean it's been incredible in there. Like people have literally been making money hand over fist. I've had so many messages. People, what should I do? Should I cash out? Should I go bigger on my units? I'm like, for me, I just go bigger on my units. Like I you know, when I have more in my accounts, I just try to go bigger, you know, and that's how I win. You know, that's how you win more at the end of the day. So, again, guys, thank you very, very much. 654 live viewers. Appreciate you guys. Hit the like on the way out. Also, John, tell them where they can find you. Anything else? Are you doing anything this week?
No. Actually, I was going to do it today, and then you messaged me, and I was like, yeah, I'll just do it with you. But yeah, guys, follow me on Twitter at MMA Fox. You ever want to chat fights, whatever, I'm always down to talk. I also follow the Club and Sub podcast on YouTube. We do a show every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, chat every UFC card. And usually, when Mike's not inviting me, I'm doing PFL or Bellator Thursday or Friday morning. So yeah, Mike, thanks for having me on, man. I had a blast.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on. 655 viewers. I did not.
Fucking wild, dude. That is I thought we'd get 30.
Yeah, I mean, for UFC 300, we hit over 1,000. It was insane, like 1,200. It was. Well, I mean, people have been supporting a lot. I appreciate that very, very much. And you know, end of the day, we give people what they want, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Again, guys, thank you very much. Hit the like on the way out. Good luck this weekend. We have Cage Warriors as well. We have some ACA bets already up in Discord. So yeah, have a great night. Good luck. Peace. Let's cash those tickets for PFL 3. Take care,
Take it
everybody.
easy, boys.